Ladies and gentlemen of the RNG Revolution, welcome to this episode of the RngCast. It's a very special episode. I've been waiting for this one for a long, long time. Joining us today are...
It's the main man, the businessman 24. What's going on, everybody?
And it is my esteemed pleasure to welcome to the show the man who feels like he's the fourth host because he's been featured on every single episode since episode 1 to this is episode 40. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Justin Sua. Mr. Sua, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
It's
awesome, man.
It's our pleasure to have you on. For those who don't know, and I don't know why you would be listening to 40 episodes and not know who Mr. Sua is. He's the, you can correct me if I'm wrong, sir, the mental skills coach.
Yeah.
For the Boston Red Sox and the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, that's it.
And we have him for a short while, and we're going to pick his brain on fighting everything from fatigue to tilt to keeping a positive mental attitude and everything in between. So let's just get right in, if that's okay with you, Mr.
Absolutely. Swift. Let's do it.
You before the show started in the little pre-show, you mentioned that you're not very familiar with. This is your first foray into esports. That's correct.
It is. That is correct. So I'm really looking forward to this, and it's joining you and your audience, and this will be a special experience for myself as well.
Awesome. Okay, so my first question is, why don't you let everyone who's listening just give them a quick little rundown on some of your expertise? Like, what do you like to work on? What do you think people need to work on for? Well, obviously you work with professional athletes, so for people who play a video game in esports, it's a little bit different, less physical, more mental. How would you say the best way to fight mental fatigue would be? Like, what's some of your favorite techniques?
Yeah, I think that's a great question right off the bat. And first of all, for those of you who are not familiar with what's a mental performance coach, it's a new field that's kind of evolving, but ultimately my job is to help you perform at the highest level possible, being true to your authentic self. What happens a lot of times is people will see the great athletes or great performers in whatever field you're in and try to be just like them, when the reality is that might not work for you. So my job is to sit down with people or sit down with groups or teams, and again, it doesn't matter what kind of performance you're in, and to find out, number one, what works for you. So in order to identify, to push through and to succeed over mental fatigue, you've got to know who you are. So Buster and Biz, it always starts with self-awareness. You have got to know yourself in order to truly be able to trust yourself. And it's taking a hard look in the mirror and seeing, number one, what you're good at. I think sometimes we beat up on ourselves so much, and you got to be realistic. You got to be realistic what your strengths are and what your weapons are. And number two, you got to really identify what you're not good at. And being honest with yourself and saying, hey, you know what? These are my weaknesses, and then go all in on your strengths. Being able to use your strengths and just really, really enhancing those things. And another thing that goes, I mean, I can talk for days on this topic, but I'll just give you some principles. So number one is self-awareness. It always starts with self-awareness. And number two is your why. Your purpose, the research shows, and when you know why you do what you do, you're going to have more power to do and reconnect to your why, because those who are connected to their purpose, they're going to be more resilient, they're going to be more focused, they're going to be able to push through exhaustion, and they're going to learn from their failures more often. And so that's something that's going to help tremendously. And another thing that to help, the third thing I'll mention to push through mental fatigue is to expect it. A lot of times people, when they perform, they have this picture in their mind of them succeeding, them experiencing success, and them going through and achieving their goals without any adversity. And at the moment of adversity, when they get that punch in the face, so to speak, all of a sudden they get overly emotional. They begin to doubt themselves, and then their confidence begins to drop, and they lose focus, and all of a sudden they struggle, and then they quit. But once you expect that mental fatigue, then you can know how to respond to it. So it's expecting it, it's knowing it's going to happen, and then planning your response before it even happens. And we call that a bounce back plan. And it's not. And some people will think, oh well, are you expecting yourself Is that bad because you're expecting yourself to fail? It's like it's expecting the best, but being prepared for the worst. And those would be the three things that I would say right off the bat on how to protect yourself from mental fatigue.
Okay. So I have a follow-up question to something that you just said. And I think one of the key things that you mentioned was knowing yourself. And I like to use this as an example. A lot of athletes, and although I'm not an athlete, I'll put myself in this situation as well, have this strong belief that they can do anything and that they can will themselves into whatever outcome that they want to occur. Mm-hmm. But what's the fine line between straight will and confidence and delusional?
Yeah, that's a great question, Biz. That's a great question, and that's a question I actually get all the time in my inbox on Instagram or on Twitter. Is how do I know? Well, here's what I do know. The first answer right off the bat is it depends. It really does depend on the person, and that's such a very difficult answer because you look at people who have achieved great things in any world, whether it be business, esports. You look at people in any field, and those who've achieved great things, a lot of times they overcame tremendous odds. And people did think they were delusional. People did think there's no way that's going to happen, but it's always impossible until somebody does it, right? It's always impossible until somebody does it. And so there is that kind of there's that delusional / obsessive / crazy / inspiring. Now, on the flip side, I was just talking to somebody about this. I was just the other day. Then there's a moment where knowing yourself in that there are things where you have to know. You got to know. How did I put it in this write up? There are things that you got to make happen and things you got to let happen. The key is knowing the difference and then acting accordingly. So you might have a goal. If there's a listener to this and you're thinking, okay, I'm going after this goal. My family thinks I'm crazy. My friends think I'm crazy. I kind of think I'm crazy, but I love it. It's an absolute passion. I'm obsessed with it, and I'm going to keep doing it. That's where you know you're going the right direction. But if it becomes a grind for you, if you have to push it, if you're not enjoying it, if it's not a natural passion for you, then I would say, you know what, you might want to either make your goal a little bit, shrink it down for yourself, or find a new path. If it's drudgery for you, you know you're not on the right path. But there are some people listening to this, and your family's telling you you're crazy, and your friends are saying there's no way this is going to happen, but you love it. You love the journey. You love the process of trying to achieve this. Then you know you're on the right path. And here's where I'd say, whoever's listening to this, if your family members or friends or people are telling you, I don't think you should do this, but you love it, I would say you keep doing it because it's your journey, not theirs. This is your passion, not theirs. And people can't tell, and a lot of times people are trying to protect you. They're saying, you're going to set yourself up for failure. And they're saying it because they love you. And they don't want you to be hurt. But again, like I said, sometimes you just got to go with your heart, go with your gut, and do it. And again, and I'm going to go back to what I first said. It depends on the person. It really does depend on the person, and depends on. There are a lot of different variables and factors that relate to it. So, but that's my general answer. But when it comes to specific scenarios and individuals, you might have to tweak it accordingly.
Cool. I have a question actually from one of our listeners, Rob. Yeah. He said after the seasons the Brown had, is it hard to keep the team morale positive? That kind of just ties hand in hand with. Yeah, I know it was a stab. I understand.
No, that was great. No, that sigh was. I have a huge smile on my face because I'm passionate about that. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it was fine. For what we call that is we call that tilt. If we're playing, we have one on. It's 6-man for Biz. Do you help me out here? Rumble is 6 people, right? Biz. Okay, we probably had him drop. We have 6 on 6, 4 on 4, 3 on 3, and if you're starting to lose, you'll start noticing people get a little negative. Would be the best way. We call that tilt. Hold on while we try to get the call back. Fantastic. Oh, there he is. Biz, you're back. Anyway, he'll jump in. We call that tilt. So, how would you give us a couple exercises to keep positivity flowing while you're playing a game that may or may not be going your way?
First of all, Rob, whoever asked this question, I really, really appreciate this question because I lived it. And I live it every single day. In baseball, they call it the game of failure. You've got to have the ability to keep going when you fail. In baseball, if you succeed 3 out of 10 times, you're a success. You're one of the greatest of all times. 3 out of 10 times, you're one of the greatest of all times. Football, in particular this past season with the Browns, we won one game. One game. And Rob is absolutely right. It was very, very difficult. And so it takes a very special mindset, a very special person to keep going when you try your absolute best and are still coming up short. Rob, this might be for you or anyone else listening to this. This is for all of you. What I'm about to say is for all of you who are trying so hard, but the results aren't there. And the analogy that I give, so strategy number one, principle number one rather, I would call it watering the bamboo. And I don't know if you've shared it with your audience before, but basically what water the bamboo is, it's an ancient Chinese parable where you take a bamboo seed, and if you plant it in the earth and you water it every single day, and it gives it the sun, you give it the right time every day, and you're very disciplined in doing what it takes for this bamboo tree to grow, you do it every day, it's going to grow 0 inches in 1 year. And then you keep doing it. It's going to grow 0 inches after year 2, nothing after year 3, nothing after year 4. Now, talk about delusional, going back to the last question by Biz, that's delusional. People would say, why would you keep watering this? It's done. It's ruined. It's broken. This seed is bad. But if you know what a bamboo tree seed does, if you understand the process, you know something about it. That if you stay diligent, it's actually going to grow 90 feet in 6 weeks in the 5th year. Now, it doesn't grow 90 feet in 6 weeks. What it did is it grew over the course of those 5 years. Now, what was happening underneath the surface is it was this deep root system that was growing unbeknownst to the viewer, unbeknownst to me as I'm watering it every day, thinking that the results aren't there. It's actually growing under where you can't see. And then when it's ready, boom, in that 5th year, then you see the results. That's what happened to us this season. We didn't see the results. We were 1-15. And who knows what's going to happen this next season. We want to win more, but what we're doing is we're playing the long game. We are trying to build a culture that is going to be great for the future. And so we didn't want to put a Band-Aid over it. Every single day we came in and we say, let's water the bamboo. Let's water the bamboo. Let's water the bamboo. So strategy number one, you asked for some strategy. Strategy number one is to be very deliberate with your process. Very deliberate with your process, knowing that we already know this. If you're going to want a tree to grow, you need sun, time, and water. You just know that. You just know it's going to work. Boom. And if you keep doing that over time, the results will come. In our situation, the process is bring good characters in, people with great character, bring great coaches who continue to teach great fundamentals and continue to feed their minds and feed their bodies, and to create a culture where there's togetherness, there's unity, there's oneness. And we had that this year. If you would have come into our building this season, you would have come and watched, you wouldn't have been able to tell we were 1-15. You wouldn't be able to tell. Mm-hmm. There was camaraderie, there was energy, there was effort, and that's something that we did is strategy number one is have the strategy of water the bamboo. Water the bamboo. Just what are you going to do today to take one baby step closer to your ultimate goal? So water the bamboo. Strategy number one. Strategy number two for Rob, I would say, is train yourself to focus on the present. So let me do this with you guys, Biz and Buster. What I want you to do is we're going to just take 3 deep breaths. That's it. I'm going to do 4 on an inhale, and then we're going to do 4 on the exhale. We're just going to do 3, and if you're an audience member listening to us, go and try it wherever you're at as well. So 4 on an inhale, and then a count of 4 on the exhale. And then when it's over, I want you guys just to kind of tell me, what did it do for you? What would it do for you? And then we'll talk about what that is. Okay? So ready, set, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. I noticed something as I was listening just very closely. That wasn't easy for you guys, was it?
Actually, it's breath work is something I've been working on. So.
That's great. That's great. Some people, when they're trying it for the first time, they're like, "Whoa, that 4 seconds is long.
Yep.
That 4 seconds is long." But so, Buster, you've been doing it for a while. Why? What has breathing done for you?
It helps me center and focus when I'm doing. Because I went from doing the Insanity workout to the P90X, and that's going from cardio to basically more weight training. And I sent you a text message maybe like 2 weeks ago, asking you for focusing, and you told me work on your breath, work on that. And one of the discs is a 90-minute yoga class, yoga workout, and that's the hardest one for me. So for me, he says it all the time: focus on your breath, focus on your breathing. And I remembered, you mentioned that, and I just did the 4 and 4, and it helps me just kind of bring the blinders from why to real focus. It helps me focus.
You hit the nail on the head. You absolutely hit the nail on the head. That right there, Rob, and everyone listening to this, you are going to be able to overcome adversity, push through the struggle, continue by losing if you're focused on the present. We always say be where your feet are. And one of the ways to be where your feet are is to anchor in on your breathing. Your breath is your anchor to the present. If you could imagine being in a boat and they put the anchor down, no matter how bad the storm is, obviously, and if that's a great anchor, it's going to keep you right there. Yeah, you're going to get tossed to and fro. Yeah, the water's going to come in. It's going to be scary. But you're going to have your anchor. You're not going to go anywhere. Same thing in life. Your mind's going to take you to the past. It's going to take you to the future. You're going to have anger. You're going to have frustration. But once you bring your mind to the present, the anchor, it's going to help you with that. And that's what we did with the Browns. We tried to teach them, you can't change the past. Yeah, we were 0-14. We can't change that. Hey, we can't worry about the future. There's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is focus on right here. And how do we get our minds and our focus right here? Is focus on our breathing. And so if you're playing your game and things aren't going according to plan, take a deep breath. Recenter yourself and bring your mind to the right here, right now. There are 2 strategies to help with Rob, to help with that.
I also have started, I do, I just call it key phrasing. Like whenever I do something that it impresses me, I'll say the phrase, "Let's go, baby." And for me, it's kind of it puts me back in that zone. I guess I'm really into the positive mental skills, mental mind frame, mental skills, and I know about flow state and all that.
Yeah,
that seems to put me right into the whenever I do something that impresses me, either in the physical, doing a bigger set, deadlifting, 250, squats, whatever, and then or in the game, whenever I do something that impresses me that I find incredible, I'll just clap my hand once and I'm like, "Let's go, baby," and that just seems to help anchor me as well. Do you, I guess would be the best term, do you adhere to that principle, or do you teach that principle as well, or how do you feel about it?
Let me tell you why that's so great. You're an animal, Buster. That is awesome. This is awesome. Yes, we call that in our field, we call it self-talk. And the analogy that I give for all of your listeners who are listening to this, the mind is like a cup, okay? Like imagine a glass cup. Now, imagine a glass cup and it only holds, let's say 10 ounces. And you've probably heard this analogy. I've given it a few times in my podcast, Buster. So let's say it's only 10 ounces. And we have a gallon of water. You pour a gallon of water into a 10-ounce glass. I'll ask you, Buster, 3 dumb questions. Dumb question number 1 is, if I pour a gallon of water into a 10-ounce glass, how much water is going to be in the glass?
10 ounces.
10 ounces. Okay, dumb question. Dumb question number 2, why only 10 ounces? I poured the gallon in there.
It's as much as the cup can hold.
And dumb question number 3, then where's the rest of the water?
On the floor.
On the floor. And so to the audience members listening, and you and Biz listening, The mind is just like that. There's only so much information, so much room in our conscious capacity. There's only so much room in there. And so here's the thing. There's something called the thought performance interaction, and you guys understand this. Your thoughts will impact your emotions, and that will impact your body and your how tense you are, your muscles, your focus, and that will impact your performance. So whatever goes into your mind, that's going to have a tremendous impact on everything. Ultimately, it has a tremendous impact on your performance. So this is what you're doing, Buster. What you're doing is you're choosing with the words you say, the thoughts you have, to fill up that glass. Fill your mind with things that are going to help your performance. Now, here's the cool thing. Once you fill it up, when the negativity, when the doubts, when the anger wants to come in, it's going to be a lot more difficult, not because it doesn't exist, but because there's no room. And that is a powerful, powerful principle. And so number one is you're choosing deliberately to do that. And I think if you're listening to this and you have, and we all have a propensity to be negative on ourselves. It's called the negativity bias. We construct our reality based on our interpretation of what's happening, and just the natural tendency is to be negative. It's natural. But we need to flex that optimistic muscles, okay? So that's number one. Number two is what you did is a strategy called catch yourself winning. You, Buster, by clapping, by saying that. What's your phrase again? What did you say?
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. I love it. Let's go, baby. You are catching yourself winning. So what you're doing is you're activating that prefrontal cortex, and that's the front part of your brain, and you're imprinting, you're putting an emotional imprint in your brain, and it's releasing dopamine, and you're telling your mind, ooh, we like this, remember this, and it's actually setting off a trigger. So it's creating a memory in your mind that you just keep activating. So if you have a whole bunch of let's go babies throughout the day, that's amazing. That's awesome. And what I love about it, it could be a little thing. Hey, you wake up in the morning, you got out of bed at 6 a.m. Let's go, baby. Hey, you drank a bottle of water. Let's go, baby. Hey, all those little things, even if it's small, catch yourself winning. Because what happens to us is you go to bed at the end of the day and you're staring at the ceiling and you're thinking, what did I do today? But if you had a whole bunch of let's go babies throughout the day, all of a sudden your mind's like, man, I accomplished a lot today. I did a lot today. So you're doing yourself a favor. And I just think that's powerful. I think that's powerful. So yeah, I would adopt that. I would practice it, because it's so easy to see yourself failing, but that's yourself. You're catching yourself winning. And if you're an audience member and you're playing your game and you're performing, catch yourself winning. Let's go, baby. I love it.
Biz, do you have any questions? Because I'll just run this.
Oh no, you're fine. I do have a question. Continuing on with the Browns, and I apologize if I didn't catch some of it earlier, but so. Seeing that you have experience coaching the Red Sox, which, are the championship winning team multiple times. I'm a Yankees fan. And
they're great too. I have some good friends with the Yankees.
And coaching and training up folks like the Browns who do not have any experience in successful, winning, that they don't have that feeling of being a playoff contender, champion. Do you find your work much harder to coach a team like the Browns, or do you find it harder to coach a championship winning team like the Red Sox, who's been there and done that?
That's a really, really good question. Because you're right. There are different mindsets speaking to your audience. There might be somebody listening to this, and you're good. You're just good at what you do. You're just a great gamer. You're just great. And then there are some of you who are listening to this and you struggle. You're not very good. You're getting better, but you love it. And it's a passion. There's a different mindset when you work with elites and when you work with those just beginning. There are different. It's just different. When you're really good at what you do, sometimes you're set in your ways and you don't want to grow, but the growth mindset helps there. The other side, if you're struggling, maybe the negative side is you have this ego, you don't want help, you just keep hitting, you think you got it, but you're going to get it yourself and you don't want to take coaching, you are beating up on yourself, and so you're not going to grow. The basic case with both of them, what I love about both of them is even though they're different cultures, different sports, completely different scenarios, what they both have is what we call the growth mindset. And once you have the growth mindset, it doesn't matter what capacity, what sport, what kind of performance you do. That is what I absolutely love working with. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the growth mindset, it comes from the University of Stanford. Carol Dweck is the one who really coined the phrase. The scientific term is implicit theories, but basically for the lay audience, there are 5 characteristics of the growth mindset. Number 1, the overall arching umbrella term is that you can change. You can change. You can improve. You're always under construction. The Buster or the Biz you are today is not the Buster Biz you're going to be next week. How good you are today is not how good you can be next week. It's not set. And so here are 5 ways you can tell if you have the growth mindset. Number 1, you learn from failure. Number 2, you embrace obstacles. Number 3, you focus on the process and let the results take care of themselves. Number 4, you take critical feedback, coaching. You're humble about it. You check your ego at the door. And number 5, you're inspired by the success of others and not threatened by it. And so to wrap around to your question, Biz, it has been different in the terms of the different kind of athletes, but it's been the same because both organizations have a growth mindset. And what's great about that is they're both evolving. They're both growing. And yeah, the results might not be there for one of them right now, actually for neither of them, because the Red Sox, the mindset is we win championships. and we didn't win the World Series last year. And so you're evolving. And with the Browns is, hey, we won one game. We have a lot of room to evolve. And so it's been the same in the sense that they're both growing. They both want to get better. They're both seeking to improve. But most importantly, they're both focusing on the process. I get it. It's a business. I get it. The world, if you watch on social media, if you watch the media, everyone says, oh, the Browns stink. The Browns are terrible. They're this. But they're all focused on the results. And I get it. That's where the results are. When you're in it, if we focus on the results, oh, we're done. That's what breeds negativity. That what breeds lack of focus. That kills our resilience. It kills our passion. We can't think like a fan. We can't act like the media. We've got to focus on the process and what works best for us and quiet the noise of what everyone's saying about us and just do us. And so yeah, it's been the same but different, but that's kind of been the main focus for us, is really continuing to maintain and cultivate that growth mindset with both organizations.
Cool. Cool. So I have a follow-up. You have a follow-up question? Okay, I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, can you talk a little bit about the killer mindset, the killer instinct?
Yeah.
And it's something that I've been fascinated with for a while. So, to bring it back to sports again, look at the Super Bowl last year, right? Or the past Super Bowl, where Atlanta was leading, big on the Patriots, and there's a lot of a case study can probably be written on the mindset of both teams at halftime, right? Where the Falcons were up by 25 points. Everybody on Twitter was saying, "Ha ha, Patriots, you suck," including myself.
Yeah.
And then it was a tale of two halves. And what I said about the Falcons, at the end of the game was they were mentally weak, and if it was any other team, they would have stick their foot at the throat of the team and crush them, and instead they allowed the Patriots to gain momentum. Can you talk about the killer instinct, and does every athlete have a killer instinct, or is it just some individuals who have it, like a Kobe or a Michael Jordan?
Yeah. I'll speak to the latter first. I'll speak to that second part, that last part first, the killer instinct. I was working with a dad once, and I was working with actually, I wasn't working with him. He just emailed me, and he goes, Justin, I want my son to have the killer instinct. I want him to be a killer on the field. I want him to be great at what he does, but he's soft. My son does not have the killer instinct. And it was funny because the reality is you hit the nail on the head where it's not something you can be taught. It really it's not. You have to identify people perform at the highest level according to whatever instinct they have and whatever is most authentic to them. For example, let me give you an example of my mom. Okay, so my mom, she's not an elite athlete, and it's really interesting. If you tell my mom, but she loves fitness, she loves to kind of go out there and run and do that. If you tell her, hey, just go out there and have fun and enjoy it and just do what you love, the woman will run 20 miles. Like she'll just do whatever. She loves it. Just loves it. But if you tell her, okay, go beat that girl, go beat that woman, go beat her, it's a race, she's done. It's like, oh, I don't want to compete against her, this and that. And it's literally a framing of mindset. I am working with the best athletes in the world. Some of them have a killer mindset, and that helps them. It really, truly helps them perform at a high level. If you try to instill a killer mindset in another guy, maybe he plays at the highest level. There might be another player who he plays at the highest level when he's having fun, when he's loose, when he's laughing, when he's dancing, he's messing around, he's flowing, he's joking. If you tell a killer instinct guy, hey, laugh, relax, he'll punch you in the face. He's like, I don't relax. I'm about to kill someone right now. But then you look at another guy and you say, hey, have a killer instinct. He feels tight. And so you have these great athletes. That's why I go back to knowing yourself. There might be someone listening to this and they play at their best. They're at their best playing video games when they're laughing and joking and when it's easy. And then some guys, they just want to dominate. They want to be the best player at all times, and that helps them. Another person, that doesn't help them. So in terms of, I always tell coaches and parents, be careful with trying to instill a certain mindset with a certain person. Trying to be specific with that, only because it might not be conducive to what works for them. Everyone has different, what we call arousal levels. Everyone's performing for a different level. You want to make sure what works for you. Soldiers, for example, Buster, you tell me you were with the military.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I had a wonderful opportunity to work with U.S. Army, and my big question was, why? Why do you do this? Why do you do what you do? Some guys, it's to dominate the bad guys. It's to beat the bad guys. And they always say, hey, to kill the bad guys. That's what I do. The other guys, because I love my brothers. Another guys, because I love my country. And all of them are performing at the highest level possible. They're really good at what they do, but they have different whys, different mindsets, different mentality going in to get the quote-unquote same results. And so that's how to answer that question. Now going to the Falcons and going to the Super Bowl. I have been talking about this and just studying this. You're right. You're right, Biz. There was a mindset momentum shift going in. And for those listening to this, I don't want to over-index on the mentality, because the mindset is just a part of one spoke on the wheel. There was coaching involved, decision-making involved, there were plays involved, there were players involved. There are so many things. And so I don't want to just say, we never just say that, hey, it's just the mindset, whatever. But you're right. There comes a point in terms of performance where some people play to win, and then some people play not to lose. And the moment you're playing not to lose, and what happens is, let's say you're playing a game and you're performing way above your average. What happens to a lot of people catches them by surprise and like, oh man, don't mess up. I better keep this up. The moment you're trying to keep that up, you shift into almost the panic mindset where like, uh-oh, don't mess up. And then all of a sudden performance starts to drop, as opposed to the trusting mindset. Hey, let's just keep it going. Let's focus on the present and not getting ahead of themselves. I don't know what was said in the locker room. I don't know those players. I don't know what they were thinking. Obviously, we can only see what was happening. Yeah, there were some decisions. Obviously, it's so easy to play the Monday quarterback and look back because I'm not familiar with their organization. I'm not familiar with their players. I don't know fully what was going on. But Buster, I hear you, man. I mean, Biz, I hear you. There was a different mindset, and the Patriots, something that could be involved. I mean, Belichick and that culture they have created there. It's a winning culture. It's a never die culture. Brady as well. They refuse to lose, and they have guys like Edelman. They have, I mean, what an amazing. We played them. They played us Brady's first game back, and they're on a different level. Those Patriots, and we played the Falcons in the preseason, but the Patriots are on a different level, and they have a different mindset. And it's a fascinating case study with those guys.
That's interesting that you're pointing out that some teams or some people when they're doing well, like, oh crap, surprise themselves, and I guess I better not screw this up. I to be honest, as you said that was kind of revealing to me, because the first thing I thought when you said it was like, well, why would you think that? Like, you'll win the game, crush them, like, yeah. And so when you said that, I was like, I never even considered that people would be shocked by their own success in the heat of battle. Whereas, I was looking at it like, all right, I'm up by such and such points. I need to finish them off, like, no let up, no mercy. If they scream about how I wasn't being sportsmanlike, that's their problem, not mine. But I never really considered the opposite way, like, oh crap, we're doing well. I better not screw this up. Like,
and what's so funny, Biz, that you say that is, that's elite athlete mindset, what you just said. And some people are like, whoa, I wish I could have the mindset of Biz. I wish I can do that, but their chatter, their self-talk gets in the way, and they begin to panic. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is to plan on that. Hey, when you're winning, when you're crushing them, this is how you think. Crush them, dominate, stick with it, stay in the present. Because a lot of them, what they end up doing is they go to the future, don't mess up. What if I lose this? What if I mess this up? And then all of a sudden performance drops. But for you, that's just natural. Like, you don't even have to teach that to you. And that's great. That's great. Some people literally have to learn how to think when they're winning by a lot, because their natural thoughts the negativity starts to creep in, and it gets the best of them, and they end up losing. They play not to lose as opposed to play to dominate or to crush them.
It's actually kind of funny with me. I always say, as long as I'm having fun in the game, I'm good, and I'm like that with the game itself. If I'm having fun, I'm playing well, everything's great. But like in physical activities, I'm the exact opposite. I'm so focused. I have the serial killer stare, is what people say about it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just ridiculous to me, and it's funny how I'm two separate sides of the coin. For, like, you would think, I'd have the same mentality both ways, but I don't. Just a couple quick. I know time's running short, so quick questions. Who were some of your role models in life? How do you think of so many topics every day for your podcast? And one of our mods just found out he was going to be a father in 4 months. Do you have any fatherly advice? That was his question for you.
That is great. So the first question is some of my heroes growing up, and I just keep it simple. My parents are unbelievable. They created a culture and environment in my home. They just loved us so much, and they supported our dreams. I would say, I want to be a ninja when I grow up. Okay, we're going to set you up with karate classes. I want to be a cowboy when I grow up. Okay, here, let's get you a cowboy hat and things. I want to be a baseball player, and not even money-wise, they just were so encouraging. Just follow your dreams. Do whatever you want, and we're going to support you. My father was an immigrant from the country, played professional baseball for the Dodgers and for the Milwaukee Brewers. He never played baseball his entire life. Once he finished, went and opened up a multi-million-dollar trucking company. My mom was a vice president, not even graduating from high school, and it was incredible to see their journey. And so just kept it simple with those two. Those two are were my heroes growing up, and I am inspired by them, and my wife, and I've shared in my podcast the struggles she has gone through physically, not able to walk for 2 years, and now slowly coming back when doctors are like, oh, you're never going to be able to do this again. And so I have one of the most mentally tough people in the world who I'm living with. Just been inspiring. The second question is, how do I find all this content? I love it. I'm just passionate about it. I have this phrase called "win the morning." So "win the morning," basically, what that is when you first wake up, living the morning on purpose with purpose. There are certain things that I have throughout my day, whether it be reading the good word in the scriptures and going to get a workout. But one of those components is studying. So I study for an hour a day, whether it be a book, a video, and I'll literally have my notes open and I'll read, but not just because anyone could listen to podcasts, anyone could read books, but when I do so with the intention to teach. And so when you study with the intention to share with another person, your eyes are open and you're just a well. All of a sudden, I'm a sponge because it's not for me, it's for others. And I don't know what the science or what it is about it, but whenever I used to just study for myself, I'd forget a lot. But now that I'm studying for other people just to help and to not to make any money off of it or anything like that, just to seriously, purely help people, man, I've just been a well of just a sponge. And that last question, the first of all, the man who's going to be a father here pretty soon, fatherly advice is number one. I think one of the greatest ways to show your kids that you love them is to love their mom. I think just the love and the respect you show the mother, and just I think that's number one. And number two is building relationships so strong you can bear the weight of truth. For me and my kids is just building strong relationships, and I think that's so important. And there's so much that goes into it. And when you truly love, just what can I do to show my child I love them? Speaking that their love language, I think that right there, just everything else takes care of itself. And just being the example, that you want them to be. I think there's one of my favorite quotes. I can't hear what you're saying because your actions are speaking so loud. I can't hear what you're saying. And so basically to walk the talk. I think, and again, I have a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old. I'm trying to figure it out as well, and I fail all the time. But yeah, it's a blast. It's a blast.
And real quick before you go, I listened one of your episodes maybe like 2 months ago. You said you gave the homework to ask people that you trust and love to the hard question: what can I do to be better?
Yeah.
And I did that with Biz and Raven, my two co-hosts, and I did that with my girlfriend.
Wow.
And Biz and Raven pretty much told me what I already knew. But when I asked my girlfriend, she looked at me and her exact words were, "Are you sure you want this?" And I said, I should take notes. Yeah. And everything she said, everything they said and everything she said, I just took in. I didn't get angry. I didn't get defensive. I mean, Biz, you can even admit, you guys kind of went at me, and I didn't. I just said, all in love, and everything. It's all love. It's all positive. So just tell me. And everything I did, I just put it in my book, and I'm like, work on this, be cognizant of this. And I think, like how you said, this Buster today is different than a Buster 2 weeks ago. Because of that homework. Because I'm not going to lie, it hurt my feelings a little bit.
Oh my God.
The ego got checked hard. But I was like, okay, done. I'll fix it. So that was
That's great. Thanks for that feedback. I appreciate that. Yeah, because and as you guys know, when you put out content, put out podcasts, sometimes you don't know those back behind the scenes stories like that. Who's really listening? Who's taking the advice, who's doing it. And so I love to hear stories like that. That's cool. That's awesome. And good for you, Biz, for being able to be open. That's great. It seems like you are an open guy. I love it. An honest man.
You haven't met Raven. Raven and Biz are, yeah. I call them
savages.
Yeah, I call them my brothers. And
I love it.
That's the biggest thing that's the biggest compliment I can give to somebody is if I refer to him as brother. And it's just been my way. But you said you have a hard out right now, and
yes,
I would love to talk to you for longer. Would you like to just give everybody where they can find you? Twitter, Instagram, plug your podcast. The floor is yours.
And so that's what I would say. If you guys are interested in following the podcast, following me on podcasts, all these things that I talked about today, I go into more depth. We have a podcast every week called Increase Your Impact Podcast. The best way to find me is on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm pretty active on both, at Justin Sua, JUSTINSUA. Love to connect, love to hear from you guys, and I just love to help where we can. And come join me, and looking forward to meeting you guys.
And so that being said, I would love to have you. We would love to have you come back on every couple months just to sharpen your, if you want to, your esports chops, and to give us more feedback, more work to do. And
absolutely.
Have a great day. Thank you for coming on. We'll let you go, and you can go and conquer the day, I guess would be the best way to put it, right?
Appreciate it. That's all right. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate you.
Have a great day, sir. Thank you for being on.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Bye.
Biz.
Yeah.
That was absolutely amazing.
I know.
And
I learned so much in that amount of time. It's not even funny.
yeah, and we still have Destiny to talk about.
Don't we?
First off, Raven, we miss you. Where are you?
Yeah, man.
So we're just gonna go about this.
Everything's all right, buddy.
Yeah. Man, let's talk about some trials, man. The map is Black Shield. I can tell you I love this map.
I like this map too. A lot of people don't because of the doors, and basically you get really campy with inside, and so if you can lock down inside, essentially you're pretty gold. But the unfortunate thing is the capture point is outside those doors, so you gotta come out sometime, right?
Capture's at B, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta come out. Can't hold the door forever. They're gonna watch your door. You're gonna watch their doors. It's gonna be doors, pretty much. It's gonna be whole door.
Sure.
So, I think the 50-50 is that straight low snipe shot, right? Is that the 50-50 lane in that from inside to the doors?
Yeah.
And of course the capture point being dead ass in the open.
Well, it's not really. You got some cover. You just gotta. If the person, since outside it's not necessarily pretty open. It's only open towards the back.
Mm-hmm.
But once you towards the building, you got the little. I don't know what you want to call it, but the circular walls, if you will, that provide some level of cover, but it's not much where you can camp. You gotta basically aim for the sky because somebody's gonna be airborne,
Mm-hmm.
and if you got a Nova bomb or if you're a striker Titan with death from above, that's easy pickings.
Yeah, or the tether smash combo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I call it the cul-de-sac of death. Personally, that's what it looks like to me. It's just a cul-de-sac of death.
So you played Charles this weekend?
No, I'm gonna play it probably tonight.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I got up at 6 a.m. to do my workout, and I played for a couple hours just so I could have the talk of the patch notes and how everything feels. So I'm not left behind. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you just go ahead and let that one out?
Okay, so let me start by saying I haven't played Destiny since the patch notes came out because the patch notes pissed me off. Why did the patch notes piss me off, right? Now, if you remember a couple of episodes ago, I said if they touch a fitting aspect, I'm going to be done with this game, right? And, after talking to some people, I kind of clarified why I was so frustrated and why I single-handedly pointed out a fitting aspects. Is it my favorite exotic in the game? No. I like the exotic. It's really good. And, and from the very beginning, I said, wow, they released something like this into the wild? Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if Bungie really knew what they were doing, if they were stupid, or if they thought this wouldn't be used by everyone that means a warlock. But okay, fine. And they went ahead and touched the fitting aspects, right? It wasn't covered in the stream. It was covered in the patch notes. Basically, they removed the quick draw perk, but essentially increases the weapon handling and accuracy and things like that, which pissed me off because the exotic wasn't broken. It wasn't overpowered. It was basically best in slot. And what pissed me off is not that they just nerf fittings, but Bungie constantly showed this behavior that when an exotic is considered best in slot, they go ahead and nerf it because they don't want anything to be best in slot. To which my point being, you knew going into year 3 that this could have been a possible, if not definite, best in slot exotic. Yet you still released it as it was, and now you decided to dial it back because you you had an epiphany that this was best in slot. That's not fair to a lot of the users out there, and this is where I'm starting to get technical because I have a software testing background. All right, I'm in IT. Haha, now you know a little bit more about me. I don't just talk about food all day. And so I'm talking about quality control, quality management, and user experience testing, right? And just user experience in general. Okay? if you had done your adamant amount of testing, and I'm not saying that you didn't, but if you have done thorough testing, then you would have seen already, you know what, maybe we should not add the quick draw perk to this exotic. Let's just increase weapon handling from the jump so that it can remain in line with other Warlock exotics. But they didn't do that. Just like how they nerfed the Mida, right? Because it was best in slot. It was never overpowered. But, you know, they decided to take high caliber rounds because they saw a spike and a resurgence in usage by the community. And Bungie, I have a fundamental problem with you're not doing your adamant amount of testing and homework to come to a firm conclusion that this should be released as is. Furthermore, they don't seem to really boost any of the pointless exotics that we have out there in the wild, i.e. Knucklehead Radar, which does completely nothing that Galleon doesn't do. But it's still there. And so I feel like Bungie needs to stop nerfing so many different things and instead increasing and buffing others that are lacking so that you have a wide spread of exotics, weapons, armor, etc. to choose from. I didn't like the direction they went with this patch because I felt like a lot of things got sunk into the ground for little to no apparent reason. Then, oh, well, this got sunk, so this has to get sunk too. That's not fair. Like, you're basically taking the user experience and making this a unique individual experience. So we want everybody to have the same level of experience, and that's not fair to this extent. Destiny allows you to customize your loadout to your strengths and allows you to play to your play styles. But if you're forcing people to go into this one direction, you're alienating a lot of people that doesn't like to play that way. Like, case in point, Buster, you're not a hand cannon person, are you?
No, but I did play with them for a week, so I kind of do use them, yes. But no, no.
Your bread and butter is auto rifles.
All day, yeah.
Right, so, you know, when people say new meta, there isn't a new meta. No. Hand cannons has been the meta. And so now you just basically buffed hand cannons a little bit, right? And then you basically try to buff auto rifles, but more or less, they're not as competitive as a hand cannon would be at this moment in time. I could be wrong, but this is just what I've noticed as studying, because I've been watching a lot of streams and studying people's playing, right? And so you're telling Buster now, well, you know, yeah, you can use auto rifles. We made them a little bit better, but if you really, really, really want to win, you know, hand cannon is the way to go. You know, or if you are primarily a shotgun user, or a sniper, right? You know, or a fusion rifle user. Well, we're going to reduce the special economy because we want you to play with your primary. I don't want to play with my damn primary. I want to play with my special. That's what I like to use. You got a problem with that? Well, why do I have to suffer? Mm-hmm. So now I got to go use a sidearm and I use a primary now because you basically neutered my special ammo capacity, and now I'm basically having to, you know, work for special. And so you're forcing these players to go into this direction that a lot of people may not want to go, and that pisses me off. Instead, you should be more accommodating to different levels of play style and have strengths and weaknesses, strengths and drawbacks with each, so that if you're picking something, you know, okay, I'll excel in this area, but I will not do so well in this particular area. That's where my gripe was. It wasn't merely just, oh, Ophidian Aspects is dead, business is pissed off. No, it's deeper than that. It's you're forcing people to go into a route that they may not want to go because you deemed it so. And that's not fair. I hope that clears everything up for everyone. I wasn't railing just because of the Ophidian Aspect. I use that was my pointed example because I knew that was a damn good example when they released it, and that Bungie was either silly as hell or was playing a prank on us when they put it out there.
Yeah, that was just a breaking point for you. That's all it was.
Yeah.
You just, yeah. I understand. Like, now you went on the Discord and, you know, you vented a little bit, and then we all talked about
it.
Yeah.
But I didn't talk about to the extent why. Because it was too many words for text.
Mm-hmm.
It was too many words. But it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't like, oh, you know, Opinion Aspects was my crutch. No, I tell people all the time, it was that, Ram, and Claws of Ahamkara. And I love Claws. especially when I was playing my Stormcaller build, because I got double melees, and those were essential tools in the toolkit. Because as a Stormcaller, the grenades were not necessarily the best.
No, the neutral game for a Stormcaller is not the best. It's like the Defender neutral game.
No, I wouldn't even say that, because Stormcaller doesn't have stickies. You guys have stickies. You can stick a person and run away. You guys have at least one usable grenade that you kill.
True. Okay. I can't argue with that. I mean, I did play. I mean, come on now. You should know what I broke out. I broke out the Shadow Price.
I know you did. You got like every god roll you can imagine.
I have a few good ones, yeah.
Hey.
I put them on the war room in our Discord and asked some people about it. They all feel really, really good. I mean, auto rifles in general. The one I've been actually I've been throwing around today was the one from the Her Mercy. Is that what it is? Her Mercy. The one from the Queen's Wrath.
Okay.
Her Mercy. Yeah, the one you can throw the cool little color on, the chroma on. And I mean, it's like you said. I'm an auto rifle guy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna play the games. It is Her Memory. Her Memory.
Something with her.
It's all of them have her in it, right?
Much
persistence, perfect balance, and surrounded. I mean, it's perfect for the way I play. It's perfect for my way, and it's a 77-28. So it's the slowest. Yeah, it's the slowest one. It's the slowest rate of fire, highest impact, I believe. Yeah, man, it's fun. But you're right. The meta hasn't really shifted. It's not. Yeah, it's the same archetype as the Shadow Price. It hasn't changed. It's still hand cannons. I mean, you're going to see a lot more Hawk Moons, though. I have a feeling you're going to see, the weird hand cannons come out. But you're also going to see a few auto rifles, a few more Parthian shots. I mean, it's just.
So let's dig into this a little bit, and I'm gonna give credit, because I was actually watching Dr. Lupo stream last night actually. This is like last night, and they were doing some testing. I think he said earlier, in the week, that he experienced some aiming issues. If you don't know Dr. Lupo, he plays with a mouse and keyboard through a converter, which is actually quite interesting. And he tweeted to Bungie that he felt like the aim was a little bit off since the patch, and they were looking into it. But he was testing out these weapons. He was killing the mans, but then he had an EOS Luna to drop with rangefinder, hidden hand, and either a hammer forged or brace frame with a true sight barrel scope.
Oh my god!
Well, hold on. Check this out, right? And actually, he wanted to test this out, and I'm actually glad I stayed tuned, because I was going to turn it off and go do my own thing. And I was like, wait, hold on, let me just check this out real quick. And so, he was testing it on Bannerfall, the Mohawk, okay?
Yeah.
And he tested out the EOS Luna with brace frame and with the hammer forge. And so, a crit shot with the EOS Luna was registered at 86, okay? So he did that. Then he tested against his vendor palindrome. Okay. Then he went to special ammo on the backside, and since special ammo gives you the meters, it tells you the distance between. So he had one person stand on the special crate box, and he backs up, right? And so with EOS Luna with brace frame, he had 86 registered at like 27 meters, right? The maximum crit shot, 86 at 27 meters. Brace frame at 29. Brace frame at 27. Hammer forge at 29. And then the EOS, the palindrome vendor roll was like at 30, 31. And so I thought, wow, that's rather interesting. And so, with the brace frame, obviously the aim is ridiculous. The stability is ridiculous. And I'm not trying to, I just what I witnessed, and I thought, wow, okay. So obviously, range is still king, but you can still be competitive with a stability boost in your hand cannon roll. But range is still king. And so, and this is maximum crit before, damage fall off. And I realized, yeah, pan cannons are still good. I do wonder about the Hawk Moon though, only because while it doesn't have, it doesn't have rifle or reinforced barrel, it does have hammer forged, and you have the luck in the chambers
and holding aces.
Right. So you have those three magical bullets that can do, what was it, 108?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I do agree that you might see some more Hawk Moons out there now. And let's look in the patch notes, right? Let's just go dig in there. Is there anything that specifically kind of basically stood out to you in the patch notes?
I'm bringing them up right now. Actually, I knew you were going to do it, so I started bringing them up. Let's see. I mean, we all knew that the special ammo, the game types. I mean, the initial accuracy, like the year one accuracy. If you aim for the head with your first shot, it's going to be a headshot. I mean, that did it. All the changes to the shotguns. I mean, plus and minus. The thing that got everybody was the Truth magazine. That it went from 3 to 1, dude. Like, people were.
Was it 3 to 1 or 3 to 2?
No, it's 3 to 1. The mag went from 3
oh my
to
God.
1,
yes,
dude.
Yes. See, okay. All right. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Did anybody I'm not going to ask, did anybody complain? Yes, somebody complained. But really, it's the truth. Gallahorn was king. Then Truth became king. And then Gallahorn came back, and then you have people using one or the other. But I mean, Truth, it's not broken, is it? Was it ever broken? Did you feel like it was broken?
I mean, I've seen the crazy shots people have hit, but you
still gotta aim it. It's not like you're shooting from the hip and it just auto locks onto you.
True. You gotta at least be close to the person. You can't just do a 360, look up in the air, and it just kind of automatically finds you. It's not the blue shell from Mario.
But then let me ask this question too. With the changes that we had to heavy, right? And let's look at trials, right? So no longer do heavy spawn in 2 locations. Heavy spawns in 1, right?
Yep.
It's already going to be a lopsided outcome if a team gets it first.
100%.
But was that necessary? If you got heavy on heavy round, 9 out of 10 times you're going to lose unless you get bombed or struck from above by a super.
Mm-hmm.
So was Truth really broken that it needed to be nerfed? Like, did that had to be nerfed?
No.
And 3 to 1 is excessive. 2, okay. Magazine size, right? Not ammo capacity.
Magazine. The mag is 1 now. Not ammo capacity, not max ammo. It's just
right.
one shot reload, as opposed to 1, 2, 3. Then have to, keep it moving.
I think 3 to 1 is excessive. I think 3 to 2 would have been fine, but again, heavy is so situational that it may not have even mattered, to be honest. And so, that to me is unnecessary. Was there an increase in use of Truth? Well, hello, newsflash, Truth is a really good rocket. But, yeah, okay. Go ahead, continue.
What did you see? That's what you brought it up. I want to hear what you saw that got you going.
The changes to every frigging perk that has to do with regeneration health what shocked me the most. And this is all stemming from Hungering Blade. Mm-hmm. So you got Transfusion, Cauterized Lifesteal, hell, Red Death. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Red Death? I'm sorry. That Excited was barely used because the death of slow pulse rifles, right? But now you basically made it even more unusable or at least undesirable to use. Okay, wow. And to think that I was going to actually pick that exotic back up and play with it a little bit more, no, not anymore. Suros Legacy perk, work, from the service regime. No backup plans. The Ward of Dawn cast. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Ram, Apotheosis Veil. Nobody used Apotheosis. And if you look at that, Apotheosis Veil, Warlock. Embrace the Void, Warlock. Lifesteal, Warlock. I mean, holy crap. And then the Ram, Warlock. Like, whoa. I mean, crap. Okay, Warlock, you're dead. And the Ward of Dawn cast, defenders were never OP. Yes, the Sweat community complained, but you still have to be really good to play a defender.
Thank you.
You have I mained a Titan for 2 years. Did not touch defender. I've tried it. I had fun with it. That was my I'm gonna have fun and play around. But I was never good enough to main it. You have to still have a certain level of skill to play a defender well. And so for them to nerf that, to me, was kind of an outrage. I was just like, wait, what? And I'm not even a defender. Huh.
It wasn't meant to. That was an accidental thing. They put that in there too. That it was the accident. That they'll probably be fixing it.
What if they're on cast or no backup plans?
Everything that you mentioned. They mentioned that was that it was an unintentional thing. But just as well as I do, you change one thing, something's going to happen later. They're going to discover something happening later on. So, I mean, I played my defender today. It didn't feel bad. It didn't seem. I mean, I could tell something was a little wonky, but you just make adjustments and you can fix the change a little bit. What got?
Can I bring up real quick before you continue what you just said about it was unintentional?
Yeah, go ahead.
This goes back to my point about quality control. For me, if I'm somebody's boss, I'm like, what do you mean unintentional? Like, what? Did you not test this? Like, why did you let this go through QA and approve it for implementation without actually figuring out, maybe this wasn't a good idea? Like, I wonder if they approach testing as, are we going to make these changes? And Converse, and I spoke about this, and Converse, basically was the one that said, they probably made a bunch of changes, turned it on, everybody play a few games, few matches. How does it feel, guys? Good. Okay, cool. Let's roll it out. Versus, okay, let's test everything in silos in a vacuum, then add multiple things together, piece by piece, and then the whole entire thing, and see how that works. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they do that deep level of testing. And, before you say, well, Biz, you're not a game developer. No, but I'm a software tester. So, developers develop. But if you go into the IT field, everybody and their mama will tell you developers are the worst testers. They are. Because they know they know in their mind how it's supposed to work. And therefore, they're not going to try to break the system as a tester, a fully functional tester would. A tester's job is to break it, find any loopholes, gaps, anything that they can to rupture the code. That's a tester's job. A developer will not go that far into testing because they don't want to break what they're writing. They do basic unit level testing in order to pass it through. Okay, cool. We done our smoke test. All right, nothing's broken. Guys, go ahead and have fun and test this. And then we as testers break the damn thing. Hey, we found these level of defects. Log them in. Go ahead and put some tickets in so you can fix these issues and give me a new version of the code so we can test it again. Sorry, this is what I'm talking about. Now you're in my wheelhouse. That's what I'm talking about. So you saying that was unintentional further proves my point. But go ahead, continue.
I think we've actually said too that I wouldn't be angry if Bungie said, "Hey, we're coming out with a patch. Here's the test server. If you want to hop on and just run it, we're not held accountable for what happens. Let us test it because
yes,
we'll break it. I'll try to break your fucking game if you want me to.
Yes,
exactly. I mean, you have a hungry, I'll say rabid community that wants this game to succeed. No one wants this game to fail. You know what I mean? I didn't put almost 3,000 hours into a game for it to fail.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, I would do it. fuck it, man. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Oh, yeah, by the way, Ward of Dawn seems kind of wonky. I don't know what happened. Oh, no backup plans. The shield doesn't activate if you have a melee. I just want to let you know that. But, I mean, like I said, I played today, didn't feel bad.
Perfect point. I said that to Scully the other day, and I said, you know, it'll be cool, and this is a great way for Bungie to interact with the community. Mm-hmm. Bring a few of them in to Seattle to do some beta testing, right? Have them sign a non-disclosure agreement so they can't reveal what they've seen, what they experienced, right?
Yeah.
But allow them to test it out, and you know, you don't have to pay them. You don't have to pay them. That's the beauty of it. You get honest feedback for free, just because people want to be involved. When we have lulls in between content drops like this, Bungie can actually leverage this as an opportunity to keep people engaged, to keep people, you know, looking up and positive versus getting salty on Twitter and on podcasts and other different types of mediums. Mm-hmm. You can have this as a way to engage with your community that you've never done before. Yes, having the stream is fine, and showing, you know, the back end pieces to some extent on stream is cool, but that doesn't give people any interactions. Yeah, you're commenting, you're chatting, but Deej can only say but only so many things from the chat because it's populated with so much words. When you have people that are coming in there, you know, and have them be out there for a week at a time, you know, nothing extensive, you know, cool. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for what you have done. We're going to take this feedback, and then they can have all the amount of data that they can handle and analyze, because you have different skill levels, different play styles. Testing this, you have an array of data that you can use to make more informed decisions and get that feedback versus let's release it, let's nerf it, let's release this, let's nerf that, nerf this, and we're gonna nerf something since year one because what the hell, we nerf this, we need to nerf something from year one. I've said that to Scully. And so for you to say that brought a tear to my eye of happiness, because I'm like, see, this is what Bungie needs to leverage in order to still be, you know, successful in this game. And you know, I'm tired of people saying Bungie's a small shop. They got money now, okay? They've been making money off of Destiny. They've been making money off of us. Maybe they need to stop being a little shop and to expand more to get, you know, more testers or more developers so that they can, you know, help with the load of the work versus having people stretch so thin that they have to work on Destiny 2. Patches, new content in between, you know, major releases.
So what you're saying, Biz, is that maybe Bungie needs to embrace the growth mindset that Justin Sewell was just talking about earlier?
Yes, but more importantly, Bungie needs to hire us.
Yeah, for sure. Please. I'm tired of working at negative 16 degrees every fucking day. I'd love to come and play your game.
Yeah, I mean, it's testers. That's all you need, testers, and they can provide you with the feedback that you may not know until it's too late.
Oh yeah,
and don't screw things up.
So they released a nice little graphic that I wanted to bring up real quick for patch 2.5.0.2. Auto rifles, 20% in the crucibles. For kills, hand cannons 18, pulses 15, scouts 8. I'm a little surprised when I saw that.
Why? What exactly surprised you?
That auto rifles were so high. I thought it would be, to be honest, hand cannons, pulse, auto a little under, and then scouts at the bottom. That's what I thought would happen. But I guess it's because people are like, oh shit, let's get the Suros out. Let's try the Shadow Price. Let's try this. Let's try that. You know? What happens every time there's a new change in the meta? And I put change in air quotes. You can't see it because we're not doing the live version on Twitch today. But that's what I thought would happen. I mean, the fact that it's only 2% between auto and hand cannons, yeah, it's negligible. You might see that. The thing that got me, though, was, holy shit, the sidearms. 12% of the kills in Crucible were from sidearms.
I want to put this in perspective, though. This data is basically just 1 day's worth of data, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
It's too early to tell. Mm-hmm. I think give it a month, and then we'll see. Because everybody's testing everything out based off of the patch notes. You know, But again, scouts weren't addressed besides in air accuracy, right? Which again, I say, you're really going to use scouts in air? Probably not. But okay, whatever. And I'll stick to my guns. I had people give me feedback like, "Hey, I'll show you," and I'm like, "Okay, go ahead," but you're not going to do it regularly. That's not part of. I think was it Anonpig was like the only person that said that they fumble with it a lot, and that's I don't know. I could be making this up, but that's somewhat of their play style. But I digress. This is a short sample size of data.
Oh, for sure.
Come at me at 1 month. I'm sure that auto rifles is going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Hand cannon is going to continue to rise up. And pulses are going to go up as well. Simply because of Blind Perdition, Hawksaw, and PDX all under the same archetype. It's going to see a resurgence now that the Grasp and the Clever Dragon has been nerfed and essentially killed, neutered. You're going to see PDXs for days. So Hawksaws for days. Remember, the last year's Vendor Hawksaw was a god roll. Blind Perdition, damn near a god roll, if not one. So. We'll see those guns run rampant. And as far as sidearms go, I think sidearms might still see that same level of usage, only for the ammo, regeneration, if you will. Being able to hold your ammo over and get ammo. It doesn't be affected by the special economy changes.
Yeah, I mean, I brought this up just so we could. Talk about it first. Yeah, you're right. It's only from like 1 or 2 days, but I don't think the meta shows itself until about 2 months in, personally.
Okay.
It's basically taking a bunch of poker chips, throwing them in the air. When they hit the ground, you're like, okay, cool. That's where they are. That's what's going on right now. Everybody's pulling shit out their vault like, okay, cool, yeah, grab that Red Spectre. Yeah, screw it. Grim Citizen, everybody, come on. Oh, you got an ill will? All right. Raven says not to use it, but fuck it, come on, bring it over. Oh, you got a Byronic Hero or whatever, that weird,
that right there,
that one right there. I have that one. I love it. It's fun as shit to play with. People don't know what it is, the Byronic Hero or however you want to say it. It's just, I mean, I want to see where the meta leads. To be honest, I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, for the heavies, it's always going to be rockets above LMGs, but I love LMGs. I think it's definitely fall string, a more try it, you might like it playstyle.
Yeah.
But, I mean, other than that, it felt fine with me and, the 2 hours I played before the podcast started, and I'm going to be playing today anyway, just to get more into it. Now, do you have anything else to talk about before we move on, Biz, for the patch notes?
Once we get Mercury's back on, I'll be happy to we could discuss more with him on that. Okay. We all read the patch notes. We all, like everybody and their mom except for me, have been testing it. I don't need to test it. I already know what the deal is. But no, I don't have anything more to say about the patch notes.
Cool. Real quick, I'm just gonna, before we jump into memory lane, an RNG topic. I'm gonna talk about the dinner I had last night when we had.
Oh yeah.
We had we had Swain on a couple weeks ago, and he talked about he is the executive chef at Rex 1516 in Philadelphia. My girlfriend and I went to the city yesterday. I just had the day in the city, celebrating our Valentine's Day, because, working nights, you kind of can't do that on Valentine's Day. And I have to say, that's my last meal quality. It's last meal quality. Like,
whoa, that's, okay. Look, I love Swain. You have to explain to me why that's your last meal. In depth, let's go.
All right, I will tell you what she had and what I had. She ordered for starter. Well, we got the bottled water because they offer ice, bottled, and sparkling, and we got bottled water. She also got a glass of rosé wine, and I got a lager. It was amazing. That's it. They don't offer lemonade or soda or nothing like that.
Really?
Yeah. First off, when you walk in, the ambiance of the restaurant is so amazing. It's a small quaint. No, I won't say quaint as in like bad, but it's small. It's personal. The lights are low. It's very, very. Yeah, like my girlfriend said, she was impressed, and that's hard to do. Like she's hard to impress.
Is this a dress-up restaurant? Like you have to like dress
No.
up, or
No,
is
casual.
okay?
It's casual.
Okay.
So we go, and she started with the Southern Caesar salad with chicken as a protein. I started with the smoked wings with the Alabama white sauce.
Mm.
She ate it. The food came. The service was impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
Like bar none, probably the best. One of the best service experiences I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
She came. She ate the salad and she looked at me and said, "Holy fuck, these croutons are cornbread." The crouton.
Whoa.
Yeah. The Caesar, because she was like, "Babe, you got to try this." So I tried some. The Caesar was legit house-made Caesar. You could taste the anchovy. Not heavy, but you could taste it. So it was traditional. The Alabama smoked wings came out. The server came out with wet, warm napkins. And I'm not talking paper napkins, my friend. I'm talking legit cloth napkins.
Oh.
The Alabama white sauce was, I will say, spicier than I expected.
Okay.
But it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And we ate them, we ate everything. Then she came out. The waitress didn't crowd us. The water was every time the water got low, someone came out and refilled the water. It was amazing.
Yes.
Then for the main, she had the rainbow trout with, I think, summer squash, pearl onions, and a puree. I had the fried chicken, and the accoutrement was house-made potato salad and chestnut grits.
Well, I'm sorry. Wait. Did you say chestnut grits?
Chestnut grits, my friend.
There are actual chestnuts in the grits?
No, it was like a puree. It was delicious. Now the trout came out, and I'm not a big fish person, and she gave me of course she gave me some of hers, and vice versa. The trout was moist. It was delicious. Like I didn't know I liked trout. Now I like trout. The squash, the onions, and the puree. I liked the puree. She wasn't a fan of it, but it's here nor there. The fried chicken, was so crispy. Like the knife, I had to literally I was, and it was just, it was like it tasted like cornbread to me, like a cornbread batter. Okay. Delicious. The potato salad, amazing. The chestnut grits, impeccable. Everything was delicious.
Was there cheese on that grits? Cheese and butter? Or just...
I think butter, no cheese.
Okay.
Chestnut and cheese doesn't go along, if you ask me. And I didn't dare ask for substitutions because I remembered he was like, this is meant... I compose my dishes as whole bites, not individual. Mm-hmm. That's how I ate it. I ate it as a whole bite, like everything together. And, it was... bar none, probably one of the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life. Hands down. It was dark. It was crispy. The chicken was juicy, though. It was amazing. And then for dessert, obviously, you know what we got.
Oh, yeah.
We got the milk and cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so decadent that it was hard to finish it. It was so decadent. And we shared.
What do you mean it was hard to finish it?
Well,
I don't get it.
Well, it was just like so sweet, so like the batter was so good. It was really, really good. I finished it, but it was decadent. It was really, really.
Was it rich?
Oh yeah. And the rum shot milkshake was amazing. And I literally said, when you, Raven, and we all get together for our RNG trip to Philly to go to the restaurant, I'm like, I'm not gonna. It's gonna sound fucked up for me to say, but hey, Biz, you just need to order the chicken and trust me on this one.
Order the chicken?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell the black guy to order the chicken.
Yeah. That's why I said you need to trust me on this one. It's not to sound terrible, but just order the fucking chicken, dude. I'm gonna order the chicken next time I go. And we had drinks, we had all that, and I can't say for two people. I mean, the ticket was $100, and I tipped well anyway, so it doesn't really. But for two people, that's not bad. It was an amazing experience, and then it got really busy by the end, so I didn't have time to Swain didn't have time to come out and say what's up and all that, and I tweeted at him, best meal, I gave my honest opinion, and then he tweeted back with, sorry I couldn't come out, we got really busy, and I'm like, hey man, I wasn't going to expect you to come out, it's your job. You know what I'm saying? But it was amazing. If you are in Philadelphia or can make the trip to Philadelphia, go to Rex 1516. It was just the most... Yeah, it's going to be one of the greatest times we have, and I mean, whenever we're definitely going to have to. I mean, I know you're not that far away from me, so one of these weekends, one Friday, just come down. We'll take the ladies to the restaurant and just experience it. And I know Raven can probably make it one of these days, but yeah, I'll make the reservation for the RNG cast. That way, he knows it's going to be all of us. It's going to be an amazing time. So yeah, it's definitely like when I looked at. I asked my girlfriend how she liked it, and she was like, "Yeah, you're right. This is last meal worthy. Like if that was if they asked me, you're gonna die tomorrow. What do you want to eat? I will order that same meal. No changes." It was incredible. Biz, you want to move on to the memory lane?
All right, so do you want to do 1 to 50?
I mean, we can do 1 to 50. Yeah, since there's only 2 of us, it only makes sense to do 1 to 50, right?
12.
Fuck you, Biz.
Watch me like 13.
Yeah, exactly. Because you've been on a roll recently.
God, I hope not.
1 to 50, and you said 12, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll say
It's funny, I got a topic, actually.
I'll say 22.
This asshole.
It's okay. The number was 42, so it's going to be me anyway. Man, let me see here. Memory lane, what to talk about?
If you don't have one, I do.
Oh, go ahead then.
So this is going back to, our previous discussion with Justin Sua and, the self-talk. You often say, let's go, baby. Has there been a moment in the game that you actually did something epic and you just filled yourself with self-talk? And, what was that experience like for you? And what were the things that you said? And you just talk about that experience. One memorable experience that you had in game where, you definitely filled yourself up with self-talk.
Yeah. For the last Iron Banner, when it was Control, I was playing, and obviously I play Defender. Everybody knows that. And it was on, I want to say, Rusted Lands? So it was really funny. That was on one of my least favorite maps. Not my least favorite map anymore. One of my least favorite maps. And I was on B, and I was looking towards A from Seaside, capturing. Mm-hmm. And I saw, I was aiming down, I was capturing, so I had my bubble. I threw my 2 suppression grenades just to empty it, pop my bubble. So I got my 2 grenades back. I heard
Okay.
the sound of a hammer and a hammer. Like, ding, 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 ding. Like, two people threw it at the same time. I look, and I see two guys coming into my view from, you're standing on B, there's the pillar, there's the door, and then there's the opening. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I look, and I see him coming into view. I step into my bubble. They throw the hammer. The hammer takes my bubble. But it makes two orbs. Because I'm running Ironheart. I'm running the Bastion. The perk. I throw, boom, boom, throw my two grenades. Suppress one. The second guy comes into view as the suppression pops. So it catches his feet and it drops him. And there I am just Telestoing. And as soon as it happened, I was like, let's fucking go, baby. Let's go. And I just stood up and I was ready to go. I mean, no one heard me because I was running solo. But, yeah, that was one of the times. Another time, personal, like in the real physical world, was when I squatted 312. Which is a personal best.
Yeah, that's like more than double your body weight.
Yeah. It was close to double my body weight.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was a let's go. I only squatted it like twice, and then I racked it, but I didn't. But what it was the story goes, I was at the gym with one of my buddies from work, and he was squatting, and I didn't realize that he didn't change the weights, and I just stepped up to it. I thought he did, and I bomb, and he was like, oh shit, and I'm like, what? And he was like, and then I racked it because I thought maybe like my fucking knee exploded, or like someone shit their pants, or something funny happened. And then I looked over.
Your knee exploded, yet you're still standing on your 2 feet.
Hey, man. Strange things happens when you're pumped with adrenaline. So I look around, and he's like, you just squatted 312. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then I felt it. So, do you have one?
Really?
Oh, yeah. Do you have a moment?
Yeah, actually I do. And this is, it's funny because I didn't clip this. I was in dark stream getting carried. I think I mentioned this story before, but this is something that have always stood out to me. I was getting carried to the lighthouse, and somebody in his Twitch clipped it, and now it's a command in his chat. I think it's called !hype, because I was literally like off the wall hype. And so we were on what is it, Twilight Gap? I think that was the map. It was a trials, huh? It was a it was a trials map. We were playing trials. It was Twilight Gap, yes it was. And then it was 8-0 card. I don't know if we had used our mercy. Maybe we did. It was an 8-0 card. We were going for a 9th win. It was a 4. I want to say it was a 4-on-4 or 4-on-3. We were up 1. We were inside by, I have to think about this real quick. Was it C-Spawn? I think it was C-Spawn. Yes, we were in C-Spawn. And, Dark had died on the on the side, towards the back of C, around the outside where the heavy ammo spawns, but like right in that area between, the middle and the back of C.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was getting carried by a 6-man feed. And so he kind of disappeared and tried to come back. I guess he's trying to do the flank. And so I'm running on my striker Titan, and I come through, the center. I think it was the center room. Yeah, come through the center room. And there is somebody rushing at me. And it probably was a panic move on my end. But I had super, and I thought I need to kill somebody, and I need to kill somebody now and fast. And so immediately I see him, I slammed the super down, boom. Not realize I killed 2. Doc says, "Oh, okay, come back, free. Oh," and then I hear Feet say, "Oh, nice," and then Dark says, there's one more. And like everything slowed down for me. And I looked, and there was a guy across, opponent, right where Dark died. And we're going into a primary gunfight. Boom, killed them. And Dark kind of allowed this, like, oh shit, I guess we didn't need feed after all. And I just screamed, fucking shit. And all you hear was, boom, let's go. And they are laughing hysterically. They're laughing hysterically. And I'm just off. I'm hyper beyond hype. Like, I'm flexing. I'm everything about my muscles is just tightened. And I'm just like, fucking shit, let's go. Whoa. Fuck off, bitch. I just go off. And they are laughing. And I'm not done. And then I scream, fucking clutching this motherfucker, let's go! And they're just crying out loud, laughing. And he's like, Lighthouse boys. And it was just, I was just filled with so much emotion. My brother came in and was like, dude, calm down.
Hey, man.
Yeah, like, hey, bro, you okay?
You're being mad fucking aggressive.
But like, you know, I single-handedly wiped the team on the match that sent me back to the Lighthouse. Like, that was like, I can only imagine like Tom Brady feeling that way in overtime when he beat the Falcons. And I don't like Tom Brady, but I respect his drive and will to win. Right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I hate the Patriots. I'm a Giants fan. Hate them. You know, I love when I beat them in the Super Bowl twice. Take that, Willis. But you know, I can imagine that's a similar feeling where you just game, set, match, knife, dagger, coffin, nail, boom, done, finished. No coming back. No self-rest. Everybody said, "Let's go."
Yeah, I dug the hole. You jumped in it. Thanks for doing half the work.
You know, and you know, for me, you know, because like I don't like the feeling of being carried a lot of times because I don't want to be a detriment, and I feel like, damn, I should be playing at a higher level. So for me to actually go out to the Lighthouse that way and win it, and I think that was the last time I went to the Lighthouse. Yeah, I think that was the last time I went to the Lighthouse. You know, for me, it felt like, yeah, I got carried, but hell, I did something cool. I made a clutch play. I came through, and it was like I died, and they had to do all the work for me. I stepped up, and I nailed it. You know, last shot. You know, you didn't expect it from the person being carried, and it came through. Like, it was just this overwhelming sense of joy and excitement. And, you know, for me, that just kind of like propelled me. Like, all right, you know, whenever you go into a game, you got to kill, you got to slay. You can wipe a whole team. You've done it before. Do it again.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it's my memorable. And he, like I said, it's in this command, just like, you know, exclamation mark. I think hype. And you just hear me going off.
I think I have a couple clips of me running a car with Dark and Six on the Burning Shrine, doing trials, and it was me last man. And I was running away from 3 or 2. I think it was 2. And I had my lightning grenades because I was playing striker. And I threw the lightning grenade on A side going into the hallway, you know, where the gap is. And I threw my grenade and I double backed because I was going to go get 6. I was going to res one of the 2. And I look and I see hit, like, you know, like, it doesn't matter where you are. If you throw a grenade and you get a hit marker, you can see it flash. I saw it flash, and then I got a kill. And I heard Dark go, holy shit, you just killed one. And then he goes, holy shit, his buddy's going for the he's dead too. Because where he died, my lightning grenade was still sparking. So his buddy went and pop, got 2. And he was like, I've never seen 2 people get killed by one grenade like that. And then I think the next round, I had my super, and he was like, you know, I'm down, and Six was like, all right, just go ahead, Buster, push with your super. I'm like, all right, cool. So I just jump over the circle, and I don't know why. As I did my slam, I was like, suck my dick, just as like the slam emphasis, I guess was the best way to put it. But it was just, you know, the laughs were happening, and it was just, you know, fun. I just try to keep everybody. Even if I'm getting carried, I'm just trying to keep everybody laughing and in good spirits. It's just a safe way to go.
You know, I understand. And it's funny, I've actually killed 3 people in trials with a lightning grenade. It was actually epic. I remember screaming, "I just pulled a true Vanguard!"
I just got you, baby.
Because I've seen True Vanguard do it with a trip mine before. He killed 3 people single-handedly with one trip mine grenade. And I was like, I just pulled a True Vanguard with a lightning grenade. I feel like, damn, what are the odds of that happening? Yeah.
All right. But since you took the memory, I got the RNG topic if you want.
Sure.
What show that was on TV would you like that was canceled before its time would you like to be brought back? Or that was canceled to be brought back?
Wow. It's so funny. I don't watch a lot of television shows, but there was one show that wasn't necessarily popular by the masses that actually was intriguing to me, and I think they canceled it. And I think I stopped watching it because I saw that they were going to cancel. As well, there's no point in watching it. But it was a show called Flash Forward on ABC.
With the newspaper.
Huh?
It was about the news. Was it the guy who got the newspaper from the day before, the day in the future? Is that what it was?
Not necessarily. Basically, some type of global phenomenon happened where everybody blacked out, and everybody blacked out the exact same day, same time, same instance. And during I think it was a 7-minute period of people blacking out, they witnessed a vision of the future.
Mm.
And one detective police dude was basically trying to figure out, piece everything together to figure out what caused this epidemic. And you can tell that, this phenomenon, whatever happened, changed the lives of so many people. People were, necessarily finding new hope. Other people killed themselves, but idea is what caused this thing to happen? Was this man-made or was this like an act of God? And then what does this all mean? And how are all these visions? And he was trying to connect all the visions together. And so they figured out, so the date that everybody saw was this future date. What did you have? What did you see? What did you see? What did you see? And so he was trying to connect these dots. I think the idea of the show was based off of a book. And so I never read the book, but the show itself I thought was interesting because it was a mystery and a puzzle that you're trying to solve. And I kind of like shows like that. But I see that it didn't catch on with a lot of people. So
okay, so everyone saw a vision, or certain people?
So if you didn't see a vision, 9 out of 10 times that means you had died
before the date everybody saw.
Yeah, in one case it was Gabrielle Union and John Cho. John Cho was from Harold and Kumar. Mm-hmm. He was Harold.
Yeah,
they were both get married, right? And so Gabrielle Union, her vision, she saw herself in a white dress walking on the beach, right? So she assumed, we're going to get married. But John didn't see anything in his dream. And so he was like, holy crap, I didn't see anything. But he lied and said, yeah, I saw everything. And so I kind of figured it out. Maybe that was like John Cho's funeral, not necessarily, wedding, right? Okay. But he kept lying and lying and lying. And so, one dude, basically said, well, what if we can change it? And he ended up killing himself. See? My vision said I was going to see this, but, I'm changing that. And so he changed it. So, John Cho was supposed to be dead. I don't think he ended up dying, but then again, the show got canceled, so I don't know what happened, but.
Yeah. For me, it would be the continuation of the show Farscape.
I don't know what that show is.
Oh my God. Basically, the long and the short is there's a human named John Crichton, and he was experimenting with wormhole technology.
Oh, sounds like fun.
And he got shot through a wormhole into a different galaxy where he got picked up by a living ship, and there was prisoners on the ship, and then shenanigans ensued from there. I think there was like 5-6 seasons maybe. It's really good. I mean, if you like science fiction, fantasy type thing. The ship's alive. The special effects, the creature effects were done by Jim Henson Studios, so they're all really well done. But the movie, it ends on a movie called The Peacekeeper Wars or something like that, and it ends pretty open. It leaves a lot to be done, so that's what I would want to have come back. It's not, everybody was like, I want Firefly to come back or this, that, or the third. Nope, just bring back Farscape and I'll be happy.
Yes, sir.
So,
Ooh.
before we sign off, everybody, give a listen to the Destiny Tracker website, the Destiny Tracker podcast network, which holds podcasts such as us, the RngCast, the Destiny Down Under podcast, the Destiny Lorecast, the Destiny Tracker podcast, and the Destiny Master Breakdown podcast with our guest next week, Mercules. He will be back. Give everybody a listen. They're really well done. And Rabbit Hole Radio. I don't want to forget the Lore Speculation podcast. They're all really well done. Give everybody a follow on Twitter. Give everybody a listen. But always come back to us, the RngCast. We're here for you. Biz, you want to give everybody where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at businessman underscore DRP. I have to for some reason I blanked out. Businessman underscore DRP. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/businessman24. And yeah, you just hit me up on PlayStation, the Businessman24. I will say, as much as I railed about Destiny, my competitive spirit, and I want to ask Sue this, how do you deal with like something that pisses you off in game that you feel like you want to quit, but your killer instinct is telling you not to? How do you deal with that? Because like, as much as I hated not hated, this is a strong word, much as I dislike and disagree that what Bungie did, the competitor in me is like, dude, go out there and kill. Like, that's what you do. Like, go out there and kill. I got a reason with that, so.
You can follow me, Buster Knuckle, at BusterKnuckle13 on Twitter, on Twitch, twitch.tv/Buster_Knuckle, and on YouTube at Buster Knuckle. You can follow this podcast, the RngCast, on Twitter and Instagram at the RngCast. You can send us an email, the RngCast@gmail.com, and you can find us on YouTube at the RngCast podcast. I know it's kind of long and difficult, but we had to pick it. That being said, this ends the 40th episode of the RngCast. We ended on we're positive, we're focused, we're growing, and we're out.
See you all next week.